When it comes to sweeteners, most of us are familiar with cane sugar. It's the stuff in your grandma's cookie jar and what you stir into your coffee every morning. But over the past few years, a new contender has entered the scene: coconut sugar. Marketed as a healthier, more natural alternative, it's popped up in everything from organic granola to trendy baking recipes. But here's the real question: is coconut sugar actually better for you than cane sugar? Or is it just another health fad wrapped in a pretty label? Today we're breaking it down: the origins, the nutrition, the processing, and what science really says about coconut sugar versus cane sugar. Let's dive in, right here, on History of Simple Things. Let's start at the source. Cane sugar, as the name implies, comes from sugar cane, a tall tropical grass. It's one of the most widely grown crops in the world, especially in countries like Brazil, India, and the Philippines. The stalks are harvested, crushed to extract the juice, then boiled and processed into crystallized sugar, either raw brown sugar or refined white sugar, depending on how far the processing goes. Coconut sugar, on the other hand, doesn't come from the fruit itself. It's made from the sap of the coconut palm tree, specifically from the flower buds. Farmers climb the trees, cut the buds, and collect the sap, which is then boiled down to create a caramel-colored, granulated sugar. It's a more manual process and often considered more sustainable. So while both are natural plant-based sweeteners, they come from completely different parts of two very different plants. One of the biggest arguments in favor of coconut sugar is that it's less processed. And to an extent, that's true. Coconut sugar is typically boiled down without any refining, bleaching, or chemical treatment. What you get is a minimally processed sweetener with a more natural profile. It retains some nutrients from the sap like iron, zinc, and potassium, though in small amounts. Cane sugar, especially white refined sugar, goes through a more intensive process. It's filtered, crystallized, and often bleached to remove molasses and impurities. During that refining, nearly all nutrients are stripped away, leaving behind pure sucrose. That said, raw or unrefined cane sugars like turbinado or muscovado retain some molasses and minerals, so it's not all black and white, or rather, not all white and brown. Let's talk numbers. Both coconut sugar and cane sugar are, at their core, forms of sucrose. That's the basic sugar molecule. But there are a few differences worth noting. 1 teaspoon of coconut sugar contains about 15 calories, just like cane sugar. So if you're thinking it's a lower calorie alternative, it's not. However, coconut sugar contains a small amount of inulin, a type of soluble fiber. This fiber may slightly slow down sugar absorption, which brings us to one of the most commonly cited benefits: its lower glycemic index. You've probably heard that coconut sugar has a lower glycemic index, GI, around 35, compared to cane sugar's GI of 60 to 65. The GI measures how quickly a food raises blood sugar levels. A lower GI sounds great, right? Slower sugar absorption, fewer blood sugar spikes. But here's where it gets tricky. First, the difference isn't dramatic, especially if you're only using a teaspoon or two. And second, GI can vary depending on what you're eating with the sugar. If it's part of a meal with fat or protein, the GI effect becomes less significant. Also, the GI of coconut sugar is based on limited testing. Most of the numbers come from small studies or supplier claims. So while it may be marginally better, it's not a license to overindulge. All right, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about taste. Cane sugar is sweet and neutral. It's the standard in baking, beverages, and processed foods because it blends seamlessly. Coconut sugar has a rich caramel-like flavor, similar to brown sugar but with a hint of nuttiness. Some people love the taste, especially in coffee or desserts. Others find it a bit overpowering or earthy. In terms of texture, coconut sugar has larger, coarser crystals and can clump a bit due to its moisture content. That can affect how it behaves in baking. It doesn't dissolve as easily as refined sugar. So if you're switching, it might take some trial and error to get your recipes just right. Now the big question, is coconut sugar better for you than cane sugar? In some ways, yes. It's less processed, contains small amounts of nutrients, may have a lower glycemic index, and is better for the environment. But let's not forget, it's still sugar. Whether it comes from a palm flower or a sugarcane stalk, your body processes it in much the same way. Excess sugar from any source can contribute to weight gain, blood sugar spikes, and long-term health issues. The healthier option isn't about swapping cane sugar for coconut sugar. It's about using less sugar overall, regardless of the type. That said, if you're going to use sugar and want something a little more natural and flavorful, coconut sugar is a good choice, especially in baking where its caramel notes can enhance flavor. It's also a great alternative if you're trying to cut down on refined products and choose more whole food options. But if you're baking something light, like angel food cake or meringue, cane sugar might still be your go-to. It's all about the right tool for the job, not labeling one as universally good or bad. So there you have it, coconut sugar versus cane sugar, demystified. While coconut sugar does offer a few small advantages, it's not a miracle health food. It's just a slightly better option in the world of sweeteners. The key takeaway? Use sugar mindfully, no matter the source. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.